Welcome everybody to the Safe and Brave Space Volume 2 book launch. Normally I have a video for this event, but I had a little computer problem today, so this is it. I could do a little song and dance, we could do something like that, but I'll spare you that. So welcome everyone. And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the book Safe and Brave Space. Does everybody have their copy now? No, don't have one yet. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, and this book is a second volume. When we started this last year, I can't even remember how we came up with it. Susan, you could probably speak to that better than I could. We were just going along with the theme of the garden and trying to get that kind of momentum going. And what can you add to that?
So, I mean, I think the name of Safe and Brave Space came from the fact that we were using that as a hashtag all over our social media feeds. So we would talk about the Garden of Neuro and we would invite women in and we would say, this is a safe and brave space. And we would say hashtag Safe and Brave Space. And because of the rules of how we play here in the garden with each other. And then I don't know who it was that decided, or if it was kind of a group think project where we said, oh, we're going to do an anthology. Oh, let's call it Safe and Brave Space. And it just seemed to resonate with everybody. And we went with that. And so now here we are in the second volume, and I'm sure there'll be more volumes, but the title just seems to fit with the work that's in it. So yeah, it kind of happened organically, I think.
For those of us who have been in the first volume, do you see a difference in the poems? Of course, they're different poems, but do you see a difference in the themes or underlying themes of the poems?
I having been a big part of the first one and in the second one also, I feel like as we especially if it's your second time in the book, that we feel even braver to say deeper things, share more of ourselves, which is very cool and interesting, and it makes you feel like, okay, what's next year going to bring? How much deeper and how much more can we share next year? And how many more women can we include in the project next year? This year, it's not next year now, it's this year, coming in September again. So it's very exciting to see it evolve. And I think that's the whole purpose of having volumes 1, 2, 3, and continuing on, to see the work evolve.
See a difference myself, and just in my own focus, on the first book, I felt very green. And addressing the theme, and still kind of trying to define that and advocate for that. And I think this time around I got a little bit more gutsy about what I was really about, because I know what I'm about, but I want my poetry to reflect that. And so I think it showed more in my poetry. Wow, our room is growing. All right. Wonderful. So, and I wonder for this year, for people who have contributed for the first time this year, how was it for you working with this theme? So I'm going to be quiet and let people that have done this for the first time. I can pick people out, but I'd rather see. Karen?
I loved it, and I'm a new poet, so this was my first bit of experience with it, and I just enjoyed it so much, and I enjoyed even doing the drawing, and I'm not an artist, but it was fun. So I loved the whole experience, and I enjoyed the workup little workshops, or I probably would never have been brave enough to do something like that. So the workshops, Lisa, were very beneficial for me.
A lot of fun to do. A lot of fun. Lynn, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I found the theme very easy to work with. I had pulled a couple of poems that were that I'd worked on in the past, and they found that they fit right into the theme and the size dimensions you were looking for. And then I think one of them is brand new, but it was pretty nice to work with.
For me, it was my first time in the book, and I found that because I am not really a new poet, but I'm new to poetry as an adult. And I found that in this book, it helped me to expand my horizon and actually learn a lot of things about poetry that I didn't know. I also enjoyed the workshop that I attended. So I just thank you guys for helping me to expand my knowledge in poetry and be able to learn from you guys.
The pleasures of seeing all this poetry come in is to read each and every one several times over, and try to handle everything with tender, loving care. It's when you're on the editing team, it's, we talk to each other a lot, in our little editing comments, and sometimes it gets to be a long line, and, do you think they meant this? And you think they meant that? And, but actually, because you all write so well, there really wasn't much of anything to do, just making the lines fit, mostly just getting them shoved in that little space. That's always a trick. So, well, I'm not going to talk all the time. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to maybe have a curiosity about or like to say? Some people aren't showing their faces tonight. They're being shy.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing all the faces, but I wasn't sure what I was going to put in this volume. I feel like I'm surrounded by all these amazing poets with amazing things to say, but I'm glad I put something in, and I feel like I want this to keep going. I want this to go year after year after year. As we grow as a garden, this is like it is the first all garden project that we all worked on together, that a large number of us came together to put together on the first go. And on the second round, on this volume, it expanded, and we found more voices and more artists. And I feel like this will just continue this way, that if we keep doing it, we'll keep scooping up more amazing voices and artists. And this will just continue to grow and grow till it becomes just something beyond what we ever could have imagined in year one. So I'm just delighted that we're all here to celebrate this tonight. And thank you so much for all your contributions.
Maybe we can get started by sharing our, Richa has a message here. She says, hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here. I have a Ganesh temple visit lined up in an hour. Today, I'll be praying to the Lord of auspicious beginnings for us all. And guess what? He's the child of the divine feminine mother. Thank you. Okay. Well, should we get started? Maybe share some of the poetry from this book? Who'd like to go first? Nancy?
Okay. All right, here we go. Nancy Arvizu, Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know if we did introductions or anything, so I'll just say that really quickly. This is my second time in the Safe and Brave space, and I look forward to the third. So my poem, this one is Safe, Brave Space. Safe is to be included, welcomed, comfortable, sheltered, fed, clothed, to be heard, happy, excited, allowed, free, vivacious, to be conscious, aware, enlightened, curious, outrageous, me. The wish to be brave requires situations to prove it. Be always ready, observant with your actions, and kind with your words. I create space to feel vibration in its purest form, where wisdom passes to a seeking student, where my heart is held and moments are cherished forever. Thank you.
Would like to go next? Lynn?
I'll read the ones that I have in the book. This is my first opportunity to participate with this series. Apparently it's going to be a series, so that's pretty nice. So the first one is called Unwanted Beauty. We rarely see beauty in ourselves, but occasionally someone sees it in us. In nature, Canadian bull and musk thistles are unwanted beauties. They are declared noxious by weed boards that look over fields, send landowners warning notices to clean up, and if weeds are not removed on time, levy big fines. Thistles produce lovely purple flowers that mature into fluff-covered ripe seeds. One must snip carefully, pile cottony heads, seed heads together in a bag, and remove before they blow with summer's furnace winds across vast grasslands, dispersing noxious weed seeds viable for 50 years. It's my fervent hope we clear our personal toxic weeds in fewer years. Plant seeds of change, feel the beauty that's been there all along. Should I go ahead and read another one?
Yes, please do.
Okay. This one, as you'll probably be able to tell, relates to issues with my divorce years ago, which somehow I can't seem to get out of my writing. It keeps sneaking back in there all the time. This one's called Home Early or Not at All. And with a quote at the beginning from Larry McMurtry and Comanche Moon. I wasn't meant for waiting and wondering, Gus, she said. He'll be home early or not at all. It's Saturday night, time to howl. Squealing tires on his tired El Camino, he flees the domestic scene. Oh. She goes to find a friendly face at Smoky Sam's, the local bar. Wants to improve the night's pace, but hasn't done well alone so far. Another meal at the kitchen table strikes her as one more fable, sold to women to keep them happy while their men treat them crappy. He returns somber and contrite. She stays out all the next night, puts on a brave new morning face, knows it's time for a safer place.
Very good. Love it.
I can do the third one if you want me to go ahead.
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay. This one is a little shorter. So It's Not the End is the title. Warm winter days invite spring dreams. Sticky cinnamon rolls are best when warm. Sip hot coffee or tea and wash sugar away. Chewing fingernails is a sign of distress. See a counselor, unburden your mind. Think out of the box, smile often. Every soul deserves a happy ending. If you're not happy, it's not the end. Thank you.
I have Karen's poem here. I'm going to share the screen, and then Karen, would you like to read it? I'm not sure. Can you see the screen? Everybody see the screen?
Okay, the understory combined with overstory creates safe haven. Forest peace, meandering the forest, I discover a peaceful calm where I can think, be brave, and be a child again. Overstory, arms cast a blanket over myself and its understory. Its uniqueness is continually balanced with seasonal changes. I courageously wander alone with my thoughts as companions among the trees, flora, berries, and emerging buds. There are those creatures big and small watching me who I do not see. I marvel in wonder at nature's magnificence. I gasp to refresh myself, to fit back into society and what needs to be done. Tomorrow I will return to these same trails where the peaceful calm cloaks me.
Thank you. I'm glad that I was able to pull that up. Anybody has a poem they'd like me to pull up on the screen, I'd be glad to do so. I have the whole book in front of me here, so I'd be glad to do that. Nora, you have your hand up.
No, I was just clapping.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm not sure who Deepika is.
Oh,
Hello?
that's somebody that just got him. I think Pratibha, or no, Risha, did you invite? That's somebody that just got invited, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm trying to actually switch on my camera, but it's not working. I don't know why. And yes, Richa invited me to the Garden of Neuro. So thank you everyone for welcoming me. This is my first time and I'm enlightened to hear each one of your poems. And I think this is going to be something that I really needed. So Richa really knew what I was looking for. She's my soul sister, I always call her. And she's always there to have my back, look out for me. And she takes care of me when I'm in my deepest of my thoughts and emotions. And this is the time when I really wanted somebody to handhold me. And thank you, Richa, for bringing me to this safe space.
thank you. That's beautiful. We're so happy to have Risha in the group. So welcome to Deepika. Thank you, Risha, for inviting me.
Deepika is a garden sister now. Thank you, Richa. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, you're one of us.
I'll read a poem. I'll read my my
Okay.
entry. Yeah, I'll do. I'm so happy. So this is called Traveling the Muddy Roads. Sure, I can smile and laugh now. That is not what life always looked like. Fact is, if I sit and think too hard, I remember all the muddy roads, the places where my shoes got stuck and I had to lift my feet out, leave my shoes behind and continue on barefoot, toes digging down deep in that mud while my heartbeat sped up, not knowing what the bottoms of my feet might touch, what my toes might wiggle into. Somewhere deep in my insides, so deep I could feel the butterfly nerves. I reach inside myself with my own invisible hands and touch those vibrating wings of the monarchs, all clustered together on the tree of my spine, and find the courage to take one more step and one more, and risking everything, I start to run. I start to fly.
Beautiful. I'm going to read one by Robin Clammer. She had asked me if I could read her poem tonight. It's called Washed Away. I met Robin in the garden. She was originally in Canada and now she's in Turkey and she's getting ready to move somewhere else. So she's our little traveling sister in the garden. And I feel especially close to Robin, and we kind of developed, I don't know, it's like just like a sister relationship, and it's been beautiful. It's called Washed Away. I am the tidal wave washing you away with doubt, fear, and turmoil. You flail about, scared to be sucked into the undertow of defeat. Fear paralyzes you. I am the undercurrent, threatening to pull you under. You become fatigued. Survive or surrender. The safety of shore beckons you. Are you brave enough to hold on? Or will you succumb to the depths of my ocean floor? You must find your innate will to not only survive, but also thrive. Let's see, I'm going to pick on Yasmin.
Let's see. My poem is called I Want to Feel Free. I purposely sit next to a tree to take in the scenery, the softness of the grass, warmness of the sun, the radiant beauty of the flowers. I want to sit here for hours, my safe space where I can close my eyes under the great big sky, like the butterflies fluttering around me, freely acting in tune with my heartbeat. I am free. I breathe a sigh of relief with confidence and bravery. I am free. Claiming a space of security, I take refuge underneath the tree without judgment, so full of life and free to grow and develop everything that is inside of me. I am free. I optimize my optimism. So the world allows me to just be free. I feel safe and brave to just love me. I am free, courageous, motivated, never irresponsible. I want to be free. I am only responsible for my peace. I sit here covered by the tree's protective branches. Only here on this day do I find peace. Only here am I safe. Only here do I feel free.
Love it. Oh, I'm not normally a very emotional person. It takes a lot to work me up, but getting there, folks. I'm a little choked up here tonight. San, I'm going to pick on you. You knew it was coming.
Thank you for picking on me. I feel like Susan. I'm so happy for so many reasons. I feel like Susan's poem. My foot was stuck in the mud as I was trying to log in and get my camera on, and I took one step at a time, and now I'm ready to fly. I'm also happy because seeing Yasmin here. I met Yasmin a couple years ago through the Women Speakers Association. She shared her poetry with me a year ago. And I've been saying, come along, Yasmin, and here she is, and she's flying too. This is wonderful. Anyway, this is my second time in a safe and brave space. I have both books here with me. They both make me happy. So I'm going to share my first poem is called My Home, My Refuge. Home is an open door, arms wide open, familiar voices, approving eyes, fresh air. No airs, no judgment, just bare truth. Bare feet up, guards down, absolute ease. A circle of everything I love, a love of everything that encircles me. Home is good food, the sound of music or silence, room to dance or just to be. Home is warmth on the coldest days, refreshing coolness to defeat the heat, a soft landing when I'm spent, pillows of comfort for my muse, no facade, only love behind these closed doors. Home is precious memories, a breeding place to create more. Home is a house of prayers and hope for others. My balance is here. I am centered. I have no fear. I trust entirely. My home, my refuge, fosters my well-being. Thank you. Do you want me to read another? Thank you so much.
Yes, please.
Okay, so my second poem is entitled In No Rush. And Lisa drew a beautiful, hey Lisa, you could put the picture of that beautiful turtle on the screen if you could find it. Okay, it's called In No Rush. I am in no rush, no hurry whatsoever. Tomorrow can take its time, arrive whenever it pleases. This moment is mine to relish or not to relish, to share or not to share. My choice, my prerogative. Turtles pace almost motionless over the landscape, not bothered by the gazelle sprinting across Africa's Serengeti, not bothered by man or snail, nor by other turtles. Imagine life as a turtle, carefree. Imagine their close tie with Mother Earth. Imagine their hard shell of protection. Imagine their perpetual sense of safety. Imagine being the ruler of your own time. Imagine feeling brave, safe, and in no rush. Thank you. I want to be
Thank
a
you.
turtle.
I was going to show, because some people haven't seen the book, but we have like little journal things where you could write some thoughts, ideas, inspirations. We did the author pictures. Some people sent pictures in the back. And just, I try to put like pictures or journal between the different poems as much as possible. I'm going to show, like we had little activities you work on. Has anybody worked on their little journals in the books, or did any writing in the book? Or colored their pages? There's Danielle Martin's mosaic space. Let's see, here's Yasmin's poem. And
I can't wait to color.
yeah, we've got all kinds of, we just went in and did some different, we did color in journal this time too. This is Risha's beautiful artwork. She's a great mandala artist. Beautiful work. And let's see what else we got in here. Doodles. Another one by Risha. This is called Self-Reflection. So, beautiful work. So those are some of the pictures and stuff that are in the book that may give you an idea of some of the things that are in there. I guess I'll read one of my poems. Let's see. This is called Where You Lead, You Also Follow. Imagine you are sealed at a table of representatives. They have their agendas and you have yours. What resolutions are found may come with cooperation, with proposed risk, with open minds. When we take a stand, when we find courage to share our heart in full, chances are we will find answers. If we do not, then we risk a stand not affirmed, a dream unfulfilled, a loss unresolved. Celebrate your differences. Take a stand for what is right. Risk a belief in the good. Stand strong with all your might. If everybody had an opportunity to read tonight? I haven't been keeping track. I see Nancy putting her hand up. Nancy.
Unmuting, there we go. So I have another one from, I didn't read both that I had in there. And this is kind of a harder thing. So if it's okay, I'll read. Okay, thank you. So this is safety questions. How does one learn the feeling of safety when nowhere is safe? Where is safety in numbers when the numbers turn against you? Do we learn to be comfortable in the false safety surrounding us from birth? And when we find ourselves back inside the very thing we have been trying to escape, how can we trust the hand of help? Finding a voice, the ability to calm the trigger finger, pulling at raw emotions, a whisper roaring into a monstrous wind. And what will my voice say if I were to hold back the screams long enough to hear the words of the broken parts inside me? Will my words heal this wound equally, finally, forever? Words that must be shared like bricks in the path laid down to give the next one a place to plant her feet as her soul sings to the wind. Thank you. Oh, and then this was my drawing, my crazy drawing that I put in there.
It's beautiful.
It's so much fun doing the art when you're not an artist.
It makes it more fun.
It's always fun to do art.
It is. It is. So does anybody have anything else they'd like to share? Or?
Can I read mine, Lisa?
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought that you had to step out, so I didn't ask you, but yes, absolutely. I would love for you to read.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I was making submissions and I really wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, I decided to also make art. Now, this is very intimidating for me. I do art for myself. I don't generally send it for publishing, but the garden is my safe and brave space. Thank you, Lisa, Susan, Nancy, and every other garden sister that is out there who's a part of this today and who's not. I have derived strength from all of you, and I have been able to make my first art submission, and I'm so glad it's part of this anthology. Lisa, may I request that you put up one of my because the poetry and the art they match each other, as in I first drew the art and then I wrote. For the second piece, I first wrote and then drew the art that matched it. So I have the poetry, but it would be nice if I could see the art.
Is it this one?
Yes, self-reflection. I just so the peacock motif is very prominent in the Indian iconography, religious paintings, etc., etc. So someone who's grown up there, I have seen this motif over and over and over again in monuments, in temples, in clothes, saris, whatever. But with this, I also felt a peacock is essentially the male bird, and the peahen is the female bird. But over years, I have realized that it's also an icon of feminine beauty. A lot of goddesses ride the peacock. Uh, this peacock, I finished in several days because I just wanted it. Like I said, the poetry was written before I drew it, so it was a little bit tricky for me to include those parts of my poetry into capture it into uh, the image. Self-reflection. Such is the way of being, to see the harshest lines and the ugliest bulges and girths, the unseemly curves and dents, and the most repugnant parts. It never comes easy to like oneself. The sadness seems to win then. Who do we ask for help? As we look down upon ourselves, this is a self image issue most women have. I have it too, by loads. And a lot of my friends face this on a daily basis: body dysmorphia, self-esteem issues, and so on. As we look down upon ourselves, we miss so much so soon. The details of our little lives, like an intricate design, etched clearly on a weathered mind. Our budding transformations that we conceal in fear, in the shame that shields our eyes. So, in moments of utter despair, take a pause to look inside and see the beauty you cultured in parts, pieces, in hopes and dreams. Remember often to visit this space. However ordinary it seems to you, this glorious marvel is your life. Thank you. May I read the other one?
Yes, please do.
So this one is Unfurl. And I had the mandala in mind before I made this, before I wrote this. Unfurl. Careful. The edges might bleed into a callous sheet. Unfurl with care, my dears, my thoughts. Please pay heed. I am beginning to see your forms, your lines and where they lead, your concentricness so neat, so happy to be in a loop on repeat. Such is how you soothe yourself in floral patterns, geometrical philosophy of motion, expanding ever outwards till you touch some other soul that needs a share in your peace. So I sit with you several times in a day, month, or a year, just to soak in your whiteness, to feel absolved in the dark lines. I unfurl in petals that increase as I rebuild the strength I had, as I breathe free of myself into an infinity of possibilities. I begin to extrapolate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're going to be closing the talk pretty soon. We'll be getting that out maybe end of February, March, depending on how long it takes us to get proofs and all of that. But looking forward to that. Some of you all are in that as well. And looking forward to the publication of that. Yeah, ironically enough, and I don't usually talk politics, but I just thought it was really ironic that the president brought up the talk in his speech last night. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he's like, we need to get his wife in the garden. Anyway, does anybody have anything else they want to share before we get ready to close? Yes, Nancy.
I thought it was funny too, because Lisa and I had just had a conversation about getting the talk actually on the talk and getting it onto other spaces. And then when she actually sent me a message saying, oh my gosh, the president just said the talk on it. And then I saw it too. And I thought, Google's listening to us. Someone's spying on us. But it brought up some other, conversations about the talks that not just talking to sons, but talking to daughters of another woman in the garden is Indigenous, and she talks about missing Indigenous women and the conversations that they have to have with their daughters about that situation. So it brought up the thought of expanding that umbrella of the talks that we have to have those days, those talks that we would rather be talks of prosperity or of joy or of happiness that are so important to tell. So I look forward to the next version of the talk. I look forward to expanding those conversations. Lisa and I talked about opening up that submission funnel to be an all-year funnel. And that way, when we have enough stories, we publish them, and we keep having events like this where we share our stories and just, learn more from each other. And I think that's the most important thing we can do is we learn from each other, tell our stories, and have the strength to tell our stories, because every woman needs to share, because every woman needs to hear. So I'm just so excited about these projects that we're all working on. There's more ideas coming. So I hope you all stay tuned to the calls for submissions and participate and share it with other women that you know, because the more voices, the better. So thank you.
We're also going to be putting up an announcement pretty soon for the poet laureate. We're going to be looking for people who are interested in that position. So we'll be posting something pretty soon about some of the criteria that we came up with, and kind of as a guide for people that are thinking about going to do that as I retire my post. So, well, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you all for coming out. If you want to come back again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern time, come and join us again. I'll be here. You have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Loved all the poetry. Thank you all. It was so beautiful. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
And Nancy.